What's going on, guys? So got the car back on the ground. I finished up a little bit of bodywork on the back. It's a little high there, so I guess we'll see what happens when I get some motor and rest of the weight in it. But I might be putting some blocks in there to lower it down, or maybe those shocks I put in, gas shocks to the oil shocks, might have lifted it up a little bit. But yeah, progress is progress. So now I'm going to start working on the door. Oh, it's going to show up on camera here. This thing's got a bunch of dents and stuff in it. And you can see on the other door there's no real openings to get in. I was hoping I'd just be able to kind of whack it out with a hammer and dolly, but that's not the case. So I'm going to use that spot puller I got. Never used one before, so we'll try that out. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll just kind of get a few spots down to bare metal and yeah, see how that goes. Alright, so I just did one little kind of a crease here, and I don't know, just kind of wung it there, ground it down, put a bunch of these things on. They're kind of hard to get in side by side because the machine's so big, so I kind of put a few at an angle, and then I just hammered it out. And then, I mean, it wasn't a huge crease like this one, but you know, definitely came out pretty good. So I'll zip those off, grind it down, and I mean, that's basically ready for filler. So I'm just gonna do these big ones there, and these, you know, these kind of real big creases and stuff like that. There's probably 4 or 5, so I'll grind it down. Maybe I'll show you kind of a step by step as to how I do it, and then comment how wrong I was. So step 1 is you get all the paint, rust, and all that off. So that's what I've done. Now this one kind of has 2 little dents in it. There's one right there, and then right there's another little crease. So all I'm going to do is put kind of a few, I guess, in a bit of a circle there, and try and pull that out. And this one here, just a straight line of them down. So the machine's pretty easy. You just kind of put a stud in, push it up against it, and pull the trigger, and that's it. So I'll show you how that works. So very simple. There's a stud in the end there. You kind of put it about where you want, and as you push in, that's how it grounds itself. You pull the trigger, and that's it. It's welded on. And it says you should have the heat ring around the side should be, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch or something like that for it to be the maximum penetration. So I guess that was a little bit much on that one. If you look at these ones, they're a little bit less. Those ones I didn't break one off when I was hammering it, so that's it. So just kind of do a few of those around the area you want, and then start hammering it out with the slide hammer. So I'm making some progress. I'm hammering it out. It's doing pretty good. And there's a really big flat spot right there. And as I was pulling out there, the whole panel came out. The problem is it's got it's a real Coke can thing, so you can kind of push on it and see it just drops straight in. So I'm gonna see if I can pop it out and maybe put a little slit down the center in the door, because there's just kind of too much metal. So I'm open the slit, I'll put that in there, it'll fold in on itself a little bit, and then I can re-weld it and see if that'll take that out, because that's a really big dent. Now it came out in a hurry just with one little whack of this one, so that would save me a pile of time, because it pulled out all around the side and everything all at once. So I'll keep going on that. You know, these little creases here, I'll probably get on those as well, because those are pretty crazy. And otherwise, just a few at the bottom of the door here, but nothing too crazy there. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I put a little slice in it, and this side of the door basically went perfect, and this side folded in. So I just kind of continued hammering that out, and basically it's got a decent little curve to it. It's kind of close enough, and if you push it in, it all kind of stays together and stuff like that. So I don't know, I guess that's kind of the desired effect. Not really too sure, but it's got more of a curve to it. It feels decent on both sides, so it's good enough for me. Kind of work on this area next, start sanding that down, see if I can pull those dents out a little bit. So I started grinding away. I want to see how these, because that's a real hard crease. I'm excited to see how that one comes out. There's one right there as well. And while I was going, I still had a low spot kind of just below where I was. So I ended up putting this little angle cut in there, and the second I did that, this part of the door popped out perfect. And then I thought, okay, I'll put a little piece in here. The second I went across, the bottom part shot out like crazy, and the top part went in like crazy. So obviously right here, there's a lot of problems there. But this part of the door now is back to normal, which is good, other than there's one crease in here. So I'm hoping now I can, because all down here feels definitely workable. So this one I can probably just kind of push in and get it so it's going to hold that shape there. And this one, it's got a real little dent in right there, so I don't think I can put another cut in or do something there, because that's where the problem is, right around there. So I managed to get the top decent, this part decent, so just in this little section there, I'm going to have a little bit of metal work to do. And then I just ground out a few more kind of the obtrusive dents that I want to work on. There's actually a few I got to hammer in. But then the back part of the door actually kind of dark. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's actually pretty decent. There's a few little spots here and there, but I'll probably just fix that up with some filler. But yeah, it's sure kind of getting out of control in a hurry there, but I guess I'm making progress. Alright, well, this project has come off the rails, so I've been kind of cutting the metal and letting it kind of fold onto each other, and you can kind of see how thin some of these gaps are. I mean, it's half the thickness of the zip cut I was using to get in there, so it really has you know, made a big difference. And now when you push on it, it's not really coat canning or anything. Now over here you can really see where it's going still, so I'm gonna just do another cross through it, and hopefully that'll be decent, because down here is it's nice and strong, down there is decent. Just this one spot right there, it's got a big bubble to it, and you can really feel it's got way more of a bubble than the quarter panel and the door is going to have, or the front of the door I should say. So one more slit across there, and you know, a few down the side, whatever I gotta do, and I'm sure it'll fix itself up mint. This door is crazy. It was it's all solid metal, but I guess it's just got so many creases and dents and stuff like that. It's just stretched itself to the point where it's just completely a coke can there. So I'll see if I can pull these up. I'm thinking I might even be further ahead, just to zip cut down the center for a little relief cut before I pull them out. Otherwise the bottom of the door is decent, and this actually eliminated a lot of the dents I was going to pull it anyways, just by cutting it, and they all kind of wanted to come out. So yeah. Alright guys, so here's as far as I made it. I actually ran out of welding gas, and it's probably about 10 o'clock at night, so I'm done for the day. But you know, just stitching around, moving all around, so it's getting there. I mean, it still has lots of strength and all that. It's not coke canny at all. I got down here is a pretty good dent I gotta still pull out. I was working on that, so I have to have one more slit down there. Otherwise, some more gas tomorrow. I should be able to finish welding the rest of it up, kind of grind it all down, and then put some filler on it. Probably take the door handle off and all that sort of stuff, so I can block it out real nice. Yeah, made a lot of progress today. I mean, it definitely looks like hell, but at least now it'll have the proper shape, and it'll have a good base, and it won't flex in and out. So when I put filler on, it won't crack off. So that's it for now. Be back tomorrow, and we'll carry on. Alright, what's going on, guys? So it's the next day. This door got the better half of me. I went and got some welding gas today, but I forgot I had this door. This is actually the door that originally I made the two-door conversion out of, and it was pretty beat up, so I ended up doing just some rust repair on the bottom. I did that before I put the thing in storage, and I think it might be easier to work on this door now. Funny how that works. This door is actually what I said, I used to chop it all up, so this door fits better than that one did anyways. The other one was just had no rust in it, but so many dents and all that. So I think I'm just gonna probably fix this door up. I just put these patches in. I never did the back side, so everything's just kind of loose, so I got to do that. But once I do that, you know, skim coat of filler on there, pull out some of the dents over there, and put it on, and I think I'll be further ahead doing this, and then I'll fix the other door and use it as a spare. So that's what I'm working on now. Alright, so I got the door all welded up. I put a coat of filler on the bottom half there, so I'll block that all out. A few little dings in it, but nothing too crazy, and the top half's actually in really good shape. And then just right there, I kind of hammered that back. It was all bent over. I pulled the other door off because I got tired of looking at it. It's driving me nuts. I did get these in the mail today, so that was pretty sweet. Set of chrome slapper bars. I really want a set of ladder bars for this car, but they're big bucks. These were like a closeout on Amazon for $89 shipped to my door, so I'll put those on for now. If I find a set of ladder bars down the road, I'll put those on, but I'll let that set up for a half hour or so. I'll give it a quick block and recoat and kind of bring it back when it's almost done. Alright guys, so it's next day. Last night I just kind of worked on the door, doing a bunch more sanding and stuff. So it's all just kind of roughed out and 40 grit there. You know, looks alright. Still gotta get a lot of this filler off yet, but it's all flat and all that now, so that's pretty good. I'll hit it with some more 40, and then I'll probably switch over to 80 and then some 120. But I just want to probably put it on the car while I'm doing that. So what I'm going to do is just flip it over, and then I can get in, scuff all that up, prime the inside of the door, and then see if I can hang it on the car again. This door has kicked my ass. So I flipped it over, I scuffed it all up, ripped all the weather stripping off, which was RTV'd the whole way around. That was nice. So I peeled that off and just kind of, wire wheeled it or used a roll lock on it. Ripped the door panel off in a zillion pieces, and I just fogged all the edges, so I'll let that dry. And then I'll probably flip it over and maybe I'll just scuff it in some 120 real quick and then paint it and let it dry overnight or something like that. Or later on, see how the night goes. I got a lot of cleaning up to do in here. And then hopefully I can put it back on. This is one of those jobs, like the door was fine, it's had a few dings in it, and here we are 2 kind of full evenings later, and it's gonna look the exact same with a few less dents. So lots of work, but once the door's done, I can kind of clean up in here, and I'll get in the interior, start ripping all that out. Maybe I'll start laying down some wiring, do something different. I'm just had enough of body work for now. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it for right now. I guess I'll be back later at it. I'm sure you guys will see me struggle. Okay, it's a couple hours later, so that's all dry. I flipped it over. I just did a quick scuffed up with 120. Give it a quick mask job just of the glass and the door handle and all that. I'll probably end up changing the locks and the door handle. I got other stuff anyways, but if I can save some of it, save some work later, I might as well. So that's that. I'm just going to kind of blow it off there real quick. Give it a quick fog of primer. It's not perfect or anything, but at least it's all one color, and go back in the car and then start sanding it once I get it all, the doors lined up and the front clip on, and go from there. Alright, so I'll fog it and show you how it turns out. Alright, so it's the next day. Doors all primed up, just kind of rough. I still got probably a little bit of shaping to do there once I get the front end on. I left it a little longer than I need to. And then while the door was off, I just got in here and I primed up the jam and all that, just so it's easy to do. Not that it's a big deal to take the door off, but now it's time to do that. And I adjusted this top latch a little bit because the door was sticking out the top a little, so I just kind of loosened everything. It's just held on with these 2 screws here, then there's 2 3/8 bolts on the back, so I just loosened them all now before the door was all on. Kind of gave it a bit of adjustment, and then once I get the door back on, I can play with it a little bit more. But yeah, that's that. So I don't know, I'll probably get this door hung on, and then I gotta clean the garage up because it's got out of hand again like usual. So I'll get on that, show you how the door turned out, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I got the door hung. I ended up resting it on the chair just to kind of level it out a little bit. I just kind of matched up the a few body lines, and that was that. The body door gap gets a little tight at the bottom. I have to grind the door a little bit, see how it goes, and it's decent all the way across the sill, and it opens and closes real easy. Before it was a bit of a nightmare, so perfect. And then I did the other side while I was at it, just because I was kind of in that mode. This side turned out a little bit better. The door gap's a little tighter the whole way down, and same thing, opens and closes perfectly. So that's that. Next thing I'm gonna do, like I said, I gotta clean the garage up. It's just disaster in here, so I'll do that, and you guys come back to a nice clean garage. Alright, so the garage is somewhat decluttered. Blew the car off, which was nice. It's all black again and all that sort of stuff. And then the trunk lid was bothering me, so I was going to primer that up real quick. So I just give it a quick scuff. So I'll do that, then let it dry, take it the last of the garbage. That'll be it. Alright guys, so got everything cleaned off the car. Like I said, I got the deck lid all primered there. That'll turn into a nice shade of dirt like the rest of the car after a few days, the same paint and everything. But now everything's all pretty much done. It's all the same color from the firewall back. The next thing I gotta work on is the flip front end on the other side, but that's it for now. This will stay how it is, it's all in high build primer, so I can start blocking out before I actually paint it or primer, or maybe it's just done, I'm not too sure. But next thing I'm gonna do is start pulling everything out of the interior, start taking the wiring out and all that, because I have the other wiring harness. I'll probably start putting that in, or at the very least run the the tail light and stuff like that. Tail lights and fuel sender, if that goes in the cab here. I got to figure all that out. And then I can put the carpet down, so at least if I'm under the dash, I'll be lying on some brand new carpet. Figure how I'm going to put the seats in. Just start working on that sort of stuff. So it's getting there, that's for sure. Spring's here, so hopefully I'll make a bunch more progress. And that's the door, turned out okay. So yeah, that's where I'm leaving it for now. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, tell your friends, and like the video. Leave a comment, I really appreciate it. That's it for now.